Hey guys, I ain't feeling great today, but I'm going live. A lot of people asking me, why aren't you been going live? I've not been feeling too well, but I'm feeling a bit better today. If I cough a little bit, um, just bear with me, okay? I'm not like stuttering or like choking on my words. Like I don't know, I'm not feeling great at the moment, like that. So this is going to be really deep, and I think you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to enjoy this one. Hello, Jamie. Hey, John. How we doing? Was just speaking to my brother Red Pill Monkey, and we had an amazing chat about the Matrix and the Truman Show. So I'm working on my book, The Illusion, and I'm so close to having it completed. I started that book 2.5 years ago, and I went back and I read it, and I've realized how much I've grown. I've rarely read how much I've grown. So I've got a chapter about spiritual awakening, and I fell for the whole spiritual awakening of Jim Carrey, who's supposedly gone through this huge awakening. We know Jim Carrey is a phenomenal actor. So I did this whole chapter about him, and I deleted it. I've deleted it. I'm going to write it in my own words. I'm not going to act like Jim Carrey's awakening's organic. That guy works for Satan. And before I get into the whole thing with the Truman Show, I'm going to give you a sync with Jim Carrey and Satan, and also Lady Gaga, who, by the way, is a bloke. Hello, Mikhail. Hello, Happy Face Man. Thank you so much, Donny. I think you're going to enjoy this one. My hero. There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. Foo Fighters, again, Satanists. All right, check out their movie, all about 666. I've done many videos about the Foo Fighters, and I was a huge fan of the Foo Fighters. Watched them live. Like, there's no doubt that they're talented, but that's because they've got the gift from Satan within them. So look at this: 21 alive, 6 likes, 216. That's 6 times 6 times 6. So listen to this with Jim Carrey. And again, what I was saying with Red Pill Monkey, Jim Carrey was my favorite actor. It was also Red Pill Monkey's favorite actor. But if you go back and you watch his movies again, they're cringeworthy, a lot of them. All right, he's been in a few amazing ones, like The Truman Show will always be a phenomenal movie. Okay. But a lot of his other movies, like, he's not as funny as I thought he was. Jim Carrey, by the way, is a magician. There's no doubt about it. I've read multiple articles that he pretty much is the top dog of Hollywood, and Hollywood is all about worshiping Satan. So check this out. Hey, Surap. Hey, Adam, genius. Thank you. So we've got 21 alive, 7 likes, 217, Michael Jordan's birthday. So Jim Carrey 10 ritual. So we know Satan equals 10 and Satan equals 55, the 10th Fibonacci and triangular number, and 5 plus 5 equals 10. This matrix that we're living in at the moment is made up of ones and zeros, just like computers. And in a famous interview with Oprah, always seems to be with that witch Oprah, these famous interviews with Oprah, who no doubt about it is a bloke and a witch. All right. He tells her that when he was starting out in his career, he wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered. 10 years later, he discovered he would be paid $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber. How many tens do you want? Okay, Satan gifts Jim Carrey, Lady Gaga, Messi with talent. I'm trying to get that in people's heads. This isn't Adam Edwards here who's jealous of Jim Carrey or Lady Gaga or Lionel Messi. All right, nothing to do with that, because I believe that the talent that they possess has been given to them through demonic possession. So all those tens with Jim Carrey led me to Lady Gaga, who's on numerous occasions now said she's a man. Blatantly said it. So Lady Gaga, arguably her most iconic song is Born This Way. And it's known as an empowering song for the LGBTQ community, which I've said is Satan, whether you like it or not. The LGBTQ community, the rainbow flag has 6 colors, not 7 like an actual rainbow, 6. Okay, Pride Month is in the 6th month of the year. Pride Month has the word demon in the middle. Okay, so this whole song about Born This Way, I know what Lady Gaga was pushing. Satanism. Satanism. And she did that movie with Bradley Cooper, another one who's possessed. Okay, sold their soul for fame and fortune. Well, they're going to regret it. Look at that, 29 in the live, 10 likes, 29 the 10th prime as I'm talking about 10. The songwriting process came easily for this artist who confirmed she wrote this hit in about 10 minutes. She wrote Born This Way in 10 minutes. Really? None of them write their own songs. I've been telling you that forever and a day. John Lennon and Paul McCartney, they tell us they are the greatest songwriters ever of all time. And they both admitted that they can't read music. They tell you the truth in plain sight. If you look back at the symbolism of the Beatles, it was satanic. Undeniably satanic. John Lennon was a fraud, likely didn't get killed. All right, the whole Imagine song that he wrote, which he didn't write, Satan wrote, is for the New World Order. The New World Order is Satan, destroying the old world, which is God's kingdom. That's all the New World Order is. It's not your Rothschilds and Rockefellers and Klaus Schwabs. They're all just Satan's minions. But it's been written in the book that Satan has already lost, but he will take people down. Okay? Satan, he can't necessarily infiltrate this beautiful code, but what he can do is understand the code and then use it to control the minds of the masses. That's what he does. He uses the code for his own benefit to our detriment. That's why it's important you learn this code, not just to learn the code to win a bit of money. My sports picks recently have been almost perfect. That ain't what it's about for me. Okay? It's learning this code to see through Satan's lies. It doesn't get better than that. That's why if you come to my website, that's what I want you to learn. I have a guy messaging me, a really good guy. I'm setting up an hour chat with him. He wants me to teach him how to code so he can basically figure out what this universe is all about. He ain't doing it to just try and win a bit of extra money. So this is deep. And then Lady Gaga, you just have to look at the images and the straight back and the testosterone screaming out of Gaga's body, especially without makeup on. My goodness. Makeup is Satan as well. All cosmetics, plastic surgery. All right, that's all satanic. So she also wrote, do you remember Poker Face? Poker Face, Poker Face. All right. She supposedly wrote that in 10 minutes as well. She supposedly wrote Poker Face in 10 minutes. And you know what a poker face is, guys? Poker face is where you're trying to hide the truth from people. All right? You usually have a poker face. It's like a neutral expression, which makes it impossible to read someone's thoughts, emotions, or intentions. That's a poker face. And Lady Gaga supposedly wrote Poker Face in 10 minutes and Born This Way in 10 minutes. So this tells me Satan writes these songs. All right? And she sang the following lyrics in Poker Face. I won't tell you that I love you, kiss or hug you, 'cause I'm bluffing with my muffin. 'Cause I'm bluffing with my muffin. In England, you can call a vagina a muff. When you're bluffing, you're lying about something. All right, people will just hear the word bluffing and think poker face. That's what you do in poker. You have a poker face, you're bluffing people. Bluffing with my muffin means she's lying about having a vagina. Again, you study the English language at my level, you study the numbers behind it all, you study symbolism, you study the Bible, you study the book of Revelation. You're able to see through Satan's lies. I wrote a song about it. It still feels weird, me telling people I write songs, but I can. The Holy Spirit helps me. So I've not even got into the Truman Show yet, but what I'm going to do is read out what I've wrote in my book about the Truman Show. This book's going to be done by the end of the week. I'm going to put my heart and soul into getting it done whilst I have a decent enough platform and people are going to be inspired by this. But I've had to rewrite it because I've evolved. So I agree, Philip Wright. The Truman Show is a phenomenal movie. It's my favorite movie with Good Will Hunting. I'm also, hello, Sparkly. I'm also going to discuss a war theme. I believe World War III is coming, as does Chuck, and I've got more to indicate that. Hey, Thomas Richardson, hope you're well, mate. And do you think it's a coincidence that arguably the three of the most iconic footballers of all time were number 10? Pele, number 10. Maradona, number 10. Messi, number 10. All right? Is it a coincidence that the current head coach of the Red Devils is Ten Hag? It's not. It's not. So I'm going to... Hey, Reese, how are you doing? I'm going to read out what I have in my book about the Truman Show. And then I'm going to discuss a war theme, which I think is going to occur in 2023. So here we go. This is what I've got. Are we living in a real-life Truman Show? It is the Truman Show, and we're all living in it. It seems the lives we live today reflect the broadcasted reality depicted in the movie starring Jim Carrey. The Truman Show is surprisingly deep for a comedy, entrenched in religious philosophy. If you haven't seen this immensely profound movie, then I highly recommend that you do so, as every event that transpired in Truman's life was a sophisticated move that had been well thought out and more carefully executed. Remember, in the Truman Show, guys, you have those operating the Truman Show living inside of the moon. There is no movie I've watched more than the Truman Show, guys. I've 20, 30 times. And for me, each passing day, I can truly resonate with Truman Burbank. All right? Especially, guys, for me, when I'm at the beach and I'm staring at the infinite and glorious ocean. Okay, if you haven't watched the Truman Show, he had a fear of the ocean because they showed him that his father died in the ocean. So, again, fear, which I write about in my book, fear. Is it an illusion? Possibly. People will deny that and go, no, I can feel it. I can feel it. Fear is very real. So, or is it tricking you? Who knows? So Truman had this great fear of the ocean because these sickos basically told him that his dad died in the ocean. But I won't give away the ending of the movie in case you haven't watched it. But it's absolutely phenomenal movie. It really is. So for many years, critics and scholars have analyzed the many different themes within the Truman Show. And when you break it down, guys, you'll find messages about politics, existentialism, religion, faith, all right, manipulation. So while there are infinite interpretations of this film, The Truman Show also stands as a reverse allegory for today's social media climate, guys. All right, if you think about it, how much we're broadcasting our lives. This thoughtful and complex film, guys, The Truman Show, reminds us that we're all broadcasting our lives for the world to see. Everyone is watching us. Big Brother is overseeing everything. And those who are watching us may also be controlling us to a point, although we have free will. But definitely people can manipulate your mind. The mind is easy to be manipulated by those who are experts in psychology. Truman, by the way, was in essence the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation. And when you see these, like in Disney, your Britney Spears, your Justin Timberlake, your Christina Aguilera, your Ryan Gosling, that all came through at the Mickey Mouse Club at the same time. I believe their parents sold their kids to Disney. Disney is a satanic organization. All right. So then these people are then owned by corporations. And then they promote Satanism. And it's all they've ever known since there was a child. It's all they've ever known, unfortunately. That's why I have a little bit of sympathy, a little bit, for your Britneys, all right? For your Justin Biebers, for your Christina Aguileras, all right? These people who come through really young and they almost didn't have a choice. Do you know what I mean? But it's then hard to have real sympathy for them when you see them in the adulthood and what it is that they're doing. But they're possessed. They're possessed. So again, maybe if you're completely under the possession of a demon, you're not even fully aware of what it is that you're doing. I'll never know that. So it's no secret, guys, that right now in 2022, we're obsessed with presenting our lives to the world. I'm doing a live right now, okay? Where there's many people watching it, people I don't even know who they are, where they're living, don't know anything about them, but I'm presenting in a live, and I often reveal everything about my life to a lot of you guys who I don't even know. It's just who I am. I'm an open book, and I'm very honest. So many of us love social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube because we can showcase our lives in a myriad ways through text, photos, videos, whatever it may be. I got rid of Facebook a long time ago. I have Twitter to reveal deception, Instagram for my family, YouTube, again, to reveal deception. So again, there's these platforms, there's different ways of using them. Do you know what I mean? Everything has a positive and negative to it, in my opinion. I've said that about the internet. If there was no internet, I wouldn't be able to go live. I wouldn't be inspiring people daily. All right. But if you're one of those people scrolling through TikTok 5 hours a day, all right, and not learning anything, or you're just watching pornography, or you're just gambling, it's not great, is it? It's not great. So social media, it's dominated by life updates. Taking photos of your pets, photos of food, your daily vlogs, all right, travel photos. It's not necessarily bad, is it? Unless it becomes an addiction. We love showing people what our amazing lives are like. And as technology further integrates into our phones, our cars, our homes, there's only going to be more influences. That's why they're called influencers. People call me that. I hate the term, but I guess I am having an influence on people's lives. So technically, I guess I am an influencer. I just don't like the term. I hate labels. All right. More influences and more control over our lives. We each have the ability to broadcast our own life's events, no matter how trivial or mundane, through live streaming video capability on Facebook and Instagram, by posting photos of our food, like I said, or tweeting our every thought, even when our audience may only be the people in our daily lives. Again, the audience, people who are following you on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, they're your followers, they're your audience. The world's a stage. It is a Truman Show. All right, there's no doubt about it. It's just whether you believe that you have a say, you have free will in your script, or whether you believe that you've been given a script and there's no way that you can go against it. It's already been written. I don't believe that. I believe you have free will. I believe it's one of the greatest gifts that God's given us. So I got rid of TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. I still have YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram to talk to other awake people. Again, so you've shown progress. You got rid of half of them. You kept the other half, and you're using them to learn. You're using them to learn, to talk to other awake people. In the nothing, you become everything. Beyond spirit, then there is no spirit. Beautiful. Won on the Arsenal game, bro. Congratulations. Never had a Facebook account. Incredibly impressive. Cambria, JJ, I only have LinkedIn, business networking, and YouTube to watch people like you. Okay, that's all good. It's just becoming consumed by it and obsessed by it. Do you know what I mean? Like anything, it's not healthy. Free will for all, 100%. Exactly. Somebody was telling me the other day that free will doesn't exist and everything's completely scripted, but we have no free will. I disagreed. I really disagreed with that. So we are living in this celebrity culture as well. And what's really sickening about us living in the celebrity culture is the fact that the celebrities are working for Satan. And if you're worshiping these Satanists, you are worshiping Satan. So that's why I do all I can to call out these celebrities, these stars. I do it every day. All right. This that Ronaldo's doing, all right, is all about the Antichrist rising. But they'll have a ridiculous story about what that actually symbolizes. It's what they always do. All right. Satanic celebrations under the disguise of innocent and playful celebrations. It's what they do. Satan is the master deceiver. But when you learn this knowledge and you grow your spirit, you see through him. You see through him, guys. It's like watching a magician and you know how he's doing the trick. You're not one of those fools in the audience going, whoa. I'll watch a magician. I'll know how he did that trick. Do you think I'm going to be taken in by it? No. Yeah, that celebration does look like a dead man in a coffin. There will be mass death next year, unfortunately. So again, going back to celebrity culture, the concept of celebrity itself has shifted from the inaccessible elite to the guy or girl next door. Right? Hundreds, if not thousands, have carved out careers as vloggers or YouTube personalities. Look at me. I haven't necessarily made a career from YouTube because they limit all my videos. I make a little bit of money. I've created an audience. But through having this platform, I've been able to create somewhat of a fan base to allow myself to have a website that allows me to basically pay my bills. I ain't a celebrity. People message me for merchandise. People saying when I meet you, can I have your autograph? I don't like it. It makes me cringe. No offense to the people who've asked me for it. But it is true now that even the average girl or guy next door can get some sort of level of fame because we're broadcasting our lives for everyone to see. And if people resonate with you, they can look up to you and somewhat idolize you, which is, you should not idolize any man or woman. So then you have others, including Justin Bieber and your Kate Uptons, who were first discovered in social media. All right. And all that does is inspire a generation to follow in their footsteps to achieve the same success they have. But the reality, guys, is these people like Bieber, all right, they've come from Masonic satanic families and they were pushed to the top due to their Masonic and satanic ties. But when you're not aware of this knowledge and the spiritual war that we're in, you just believe Justin Bieber was a cute kid, all right? You could see why the girls liked him. He could sing. He could play a few instruments, all right? I want to be Justin Bieber. I want to sell out concerts. I want to have all the girls love me. I want to date Selena Gomez, who's a man. All right? See Justin Bieber now so often wearing pink and female clothing, just letting you know who they are. In regards to Kyrie Irving is a satanic puppet. I know why he's in the news. I know all the numbers behind why he's in the news, guys. So don't fall for him being a good guy. All right? the guy born 23-3, the 51st prime when the Illuminati were founded. All right? Suspended for at least 5 games, sure. Anti-Semitism. All it does is it's getting this knowledge out there and threatening you. They use these people. So if Kyrie Irving's coming out saying X, Y, and Z, which might sound like, wow, this guy's really a truth seeker, all it is being told to say that, and then he gets punished for it, which is then giving a warning to people like me. If you're going to speak what Kyrie's speaking, you'll get punished too. And I see through it. I don't fall for Kyrie Irving being a good guy, the guy who's won the NBA Finals, the guy who teamed up with LeBron, who's a massive Satanist. All right? I see through it all because I have that Holy Spirit in me. So guys, please stop asking me if Kyrie Irving's a good guy or if Ronaldo's a good guy. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Kyrie Irving wears number 11. 11's the 5th prime number. He gets banned for 5 games. Notice game 5 of the World Series had 5 runs as well. And I said Houston equals 32. They win the game 3-2 to take a 3-2 lead exactly 32 weeks before the coach's birthday. Remember this 32 rays on the Society of Jesus' logo. Remember Brady retired the 32nd day of 2021. Remember there's going to be 32 teams in the World Cup. It's 32 teams in the NFL. All right. 8 times 4 gets you your 32. Obama's birthday, 8-4. Pope Francis born 12/17/1936. That gets you 84. Orwell's book, about 1984. LeBron born in 84, the year Michael Jordan was drafted. The year of the Olympics in Los Angeles, which means the Angels. Like, again, LeBron being born in 1984 when the Olympics were in LA. And then he goes play for LA Lakers the year the LA Rams win the Super Bowl in LA. They win Super Bowl 56, and LeBron James won 56 games that season. Really? Okay. So I'll keep going with what I have. This is my book, what I'm reading out. If you're interested in it, I'll start promoting it next week. Okay. So should we be afraid of this situation with the world right now? How basically the whole world knows about our daily lives. I guess that depends on the person. There are people who are not consumed and obsessed by social media, who don't even have a platform. Respect to them. So should we be afraid? It seems we really should, or at least be majorly aware of the situation. Google, guys, that big G, which is all about Freemasonry. If you look at the logo of Freemasonry, Google, Gmail is that of a Masonic apron, is watching our internet footprint. All right, YouTube's keeping track of what we're watching. All right, gaining the algorithm, seeing how the world is thinking. They promote specific advertisements. All right, potential employers are making note of how we act. What they do now, a lot of people, businesses, employers will check your social media history before they employ you. The government is making sure you're not a terrorist, all right, amongst other things, because we all know that the government just want to protect us. Of course, guys. So as we broadcast our lives to the world, we should take note that there are a lot of people watching us and our lives, just like there were a lot of people watching Truman's life. However, once Truman was aware that his whole life was an illusion, pardon the pun, he knew he had to escape. And he did so by overcoming his fear of the ocean and getting on a boat. So he overcame his fear. If he was unable to overcome his fear of the water, he would never have left the Truman Show. So if you really want to grow and you want to get to the next level of consciousness, all right, you have to overcome fears. You have to not be afraid of failure. All right, you have to take chances. Simple as that. Simple as that. The boat that Truman took, guys, you might not know this, but you know my eagle eye. The name of the boat was called Santa Maria. All right? And that is really deep. that connects, guys, to Queen Elizabeth's death. All right? Remember, her name was Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. She died right after announcing that Mary Elizabeth Truss would be the new UK Prime Minister. And she died on the anniversary of the Feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And then you've got Jim Carrey, aka Truman Burbank, who got on the Santa Maria boat. And Santa Maria is also the same name of Christopher Columbus's boat that he supposedly used to discover the New World, hence the New World Order. But for me, the New World is far deeper than these Satanists getting what they want and enslaving society. They're gonna attempt that. This world as we know it is gonna end, but it makes me think of Revelation 21:1, like 2:11. So back in 2013 on 2/11, February the 11th, the Basilica, the Vatican, was struck twice by lightning. That's why they say lightning strikes twice. Right before Pope Francis became the Pope. I believe this was an act of God. And Revelation 21:1, like 2:11, then I saw a new heaven and new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. This world that we're living in right now is going to end soon. There will be a new world, and it won't necessarily be that new world order. Maybe they have it for a few years where our faith gets completely tested, and it already is. Our faith will get tested. This world will get destroyed. I have no doubt in my mind, especially when you study the apocalypse and the four horsemen. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it doesn't scare me because there will be a new world. So Truman uses this boat, Santa Maria, to escape his prison and find a new world, a world where he is free. Okay, and I can't really give away the ending of the movie because it's harsh if you haven't seen it, but you'll get goosebumps. So the sooner we all become aware of media manipulation and the effects it has on us, the more chance we have of thinking critically rather than allowing these people to shape our minds through their propaganda. And I told you I'm a strong believer in collective consciousness. And if the majority of us see through Satan and find God, that can only be good for humanity. And again, if you haven't seen this film, guys, I truly cannot recommend enough witnessing the twisted and beautiful and disturbing reality of Truman Burbank. And perhaps you'll learn something about your own reality in the process of watching it. That movie, guys, I watched when I was really young. I was just a teenager. All right. And it just hit me. It just hit me like a ton of bricks did, that movie. It really did. So what I'm going to do now, before I go, is I'm going to discuss why England are playing the United States of America in the 2022 World Cup. That World Cup ends on 1812, the 18th of December, the day after Pope Francis's 86th birthday, who was born on Saturnalia, connected to Satan. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to tell you why the US are playing England, why Iran is in the group, and why Wales is in the group. Wales, which has the dragon on it, the dragon is Satan. All right. There's that royal family theme, of course. Prince Charles was the Prince of Wales, is now King Charles. Princess Diana was the Princess of Wales. Wales are playing England. You have Iran, which is going to go to war. Okay. And England and the US, they actually had a war with each other back in 1812. This is huge. This was going to be a separate video, but I ain't feeling well today, so I'm going to put it all in one. There was a war in 1812. Okay, remember the World Cup final is going to be 1812. England have a phenomenal chance of winning that World Cup. So I'm going to break down this war, the War of 1812. In the War of 1812, the United States took on the greatest naval power in the world, Great Britain, in a conflict that would have an immense impact on the young country's future. Causes of the war included British attempts to restrict US trade, the Royal Navy's impressment of American seamen. It's funny how England had a goalkeeper called David Seaman, and America's desire to expand its territory. Before I get deep into this war of 1812, all right, there was also a mud flood in 1812. Brilliant, 6079. Before I get into this, the United Kingdom, which is Satan's kingdom, all right, that's why Satan is supposedly trying to unite us, okay, with this whole thing like the LGBTQ community. Everything's about unifying us and uniting, all right. Satan created the United States of America in 1776 on July the 4th. The same year the Illuminati were founded, Satan also founded them. All right. So that's why Queen Elizabeth was born 1,776 days after her husband, Prince Philip, 1776. So what it is, England and the US, they've always been affiliated with each other, pretty much share the same colors in the flag. All right. Those two countries are going to get absolutely destroyed. Absolutely ruined. Star Spangled Banner 666, May the 1st 666. Nice, Joseph. Wales was a Principality of England. My dad's dad was 100% Welsh, which is interesting. So I've got a quarter Welsh in me. Well, not in me, because that sounds a bit weird. But so the United States suffered many costly defeats at the hands of British, Canadian, and Native American troops over the course of the War of 1812, including the capture and burning of the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., guys, in 1812, got burnt down. All right, we know Washington, D.C., is so Masonic. It's where the White House is. In August 1814, nonetheless, American troops were able to repulse British invasions in New York, Baltimore, and New Orleans, boosting national confidence and fostering a new spirit of patriotism. All right, the whole thing with that about being a good patriot is once again Satan. In my book, I write about war. I write about war veterans. All right, and they will use being a good patriot to represent your country to innocently kill people. All right, to risk your life, all in the name of freedom. It makes no sense. All right, killing innocent people. Supposedly something beautiful about that. No, it's Satan. It's people falling for his trick. All right, simple as that. The ratification of the Treaty of Ghent on February the 17th, Michael Jordan's birthday, 1815, ended the war, but left many of the most contentious questions unresolved. Nonetheless, many in the United States celebrated the War of 1812 as a second war of independence, beginning an era of partisan agreement and national pride. Pride is a deadly sin. That's why you have Pride Month. Hey, Bernie Mac. DC between Virginia and Maryland, like Virginia, Virgin Mary. Brilliant. There's no accidents, is there? Virginia and Maryland, Virgin Mary. Okay. It is insanity, this. All right. It is simply insane. So what were the causes of the War of 1812? At the outset of the 19th century, Great Britain was locked in a long and bitter conflict with Napoleon Bonaparte's France. Remember, the Jesuits were founded in Paris, France. The Jesuits worked for Satan. In an attempt to cut off supplies from reaching the enemy, both sides attempted to block the United States from trading with the other. You're seeing that now with Russia and the Ukraine and unable to trade, and You can't trade in the United Kingdom now with the EU because they've left the European Union, and it's all Satan by the numbers. And I've shown that, why they left the EU when they left it. All right, history repeats itself. Okay, we're in a loop, and we'll continue to be in a loop until we wake up to the fact that we are in a loop. So in an attempt to cut off supplies from reaching the enemy, these enemies, by the way, work with each other, the leaders, like Churchill and Hitler were on the same team. That's what people don't understand. Both sides attempted to block the United States from trading with the other. In 1807, just know the Society of Jesus gets you 187. It's funny how at Man United, you've got 18 Casemiro and number 7 Ronaldo. And they obviously won all those trophies together at Real Madrid. That's owned by royalty. Britain passed the orders in council, which required neutral countries to obtain a license from its authorities before trading with France or French colonies. The Royal Navy also outraged Americans by its practice of impressment or removing seamen from US merchant vessels and forcing them to serve on behalf of the British. It's funny how France won the last World Cup, and they won it 4-2, and the beast reigns for 42 months. In 1809, the US Congress repealed Thomas Jefferson's unpopular Embargo Act, which by restricting trade had hurt Americans more than either Britain or France. All these acts that they put in, guys, is to destroy people. It's always supposedly to help people, these acts. All right? Supposedly, England leaving the EU was to help the nation. Wake the heck up, ladies and gentlemen. Have a word at this point. You know what I'm saying? Have a word. You think these people want to help us? You think people who work and represent Satan want to help humanity when Satan hates humanity because it's God's greatest creation? Again, Kyrie Irving's a good guy illusion. They can't all be bad. Have a word with yourself, please. Please, please, please. Its replacement, the Non-Intercourse Act, intercourse. Oh my goodness! So you've got removing semen, and then you've got the Non-Intercourse Act. These Satanists, they love to play on words and mock us, don't they? They really do. Absolute jokers. Specifically prohibited trade with Britain and France. It also proved ineffective and in turn was replaced with a May 1810 bill, 181 the 42nd prime, stating that if either power dropped trade restrictions against the United States, Congress would in turn resume non-intercourse with the opposing power. It's funny how the recent Champions League final was in France as well. And this is funny because I always talk about James Maddison of Leicester being a satanic invert, and he wears number 10. And check out his tattoos. Plays for the Foxes, and Fox in Pythagorean numerology is 666. His name's very interesting, guys, James Maddison, because after Napoleon hinted he would stop restrictions, all right? That word's very important, restrictions. Think about how much we've been restricted in the last 2 years. All these restrictions, guys. So check this out. After Napoleon hinted he would stop restrictions, President James Madison, yes, President James Madison blocked all trade with Britain that November. Let's see if James Madison gets a late call up to the England squad. I'm predicting that he will. That James Madison will get called up for England and go to the World Cup. All right? Just for that alone. Blocked all trade with Britain that November. Meanwhile, new members of Congress elected that year, led by Henry Clay and John C. Calhoun, had begun to agitate for war, which is coming next year, based on their indignation over British violations of maritime rights, as well as Britain's encouragement of Native American hostility against America. Again, civil wars. They tried to push that after the whole George Floyd ritual, who never died. Didn't work though, really, did it? Their whole push for a civil war, it didn't really happen the way they wanted it to. And did you know, guys, the War of 1812 produced a new generation of great American generals, including Andrew Jackson, Jacob Brown, and Winfield Scott, and helped propel no fewer than 4 men to the presidency: Jackson John Quincy Adams, James Monroe, and William Henry Harrison. James Monroe, I wonder if there's any connection with Marilyn Monroe, who was a bloke. It's funny you've got Jackson John Quincy Adams. My brother's called John and my name's Adam. So the War of 1812 breaks out. In the fall of 1811, Indiana's territorial governor, William Henry Harrison, wow, William Henry, that's like William Henry Gates. William Henry Harrison led US troops to victory in the Battle of Tippecanoe. The defeat convinced many Indians in the Northwest Territory, including the celebrated Shawnee chief Tecumseh, that they needed British support to prevent American settlers from pushing them further out of their lands. Meanwhile, guys, by late 1811, the so-called war hawks, all right, in Congress were putting more and more pressure on Madison. Look out for the Atlanta Hawks this year to do well. And on 1806, 1812, there's your 1806, 186. That takeoff, guys, he was born on 1806. The opening goal of the Premier League was scored by Gabriel Martinelli, born 1806. Coronavirus was declared a global pandemic exactly 18 years and 6 months after 9/11 for another 186. Square and compass in gematria is 186. So on 1806, 1812, the president signed a declaration of war against Britain. I'll have to do a video on 1806. I always get 18 in my life, 6 likes. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is your 18. Remember, Ronaldo signed for the Red Devils at age 18, and 18 years later, at age 36, he re-signed with them, which was the second coming of Christ. Little ritual that they did there. All right, again, if you have any type of brain, why would one of the greatest footballers of all time come back to Manchester and play for United when he could have gone to City if it's all about winning trophies? Why would you go to a mediocre Man United team if it wasn't a satanic ritual? He went to the Red Devils, all by the numbers, and I've shown you that. It's all by the numbers. Over and over again with Ronaldo. And all these stars who are possessed by Satan. So a declaration of war against Britain, guys, on 1806, 1812. Remember, the World Cup final is going to be on 1812. So it's just all going to be war themes, is this World Cup. Though Congress ultimately voted for war, of course they did, because Congress, they all work for Satan. All right, both House and Senate were bitterly divided on the issue. They always try and tell you that they're always bitterly divided on the issue, but they still always go to war, don't they? But they have to tell you that they were divided and it was a close call, but overall, we believe that it was the best thing for our nation. No, bullshit. It's a lie. They all wanted to go to war. So they all worked for the same master. Simple as that. Most Western and Southern congressmen supported war, while Federalists, especially New Englanders, got the New England Patriots, who won the Super Bowl right after 9/11, right after the Patriots Act was signed. These New Englanders, who relied heavily on trade with Britain, accused war advocates of using the excuse of maritime rights to promote their expansionist agenda. Well, I agree with that. In order to strike at Great Britain, US forces almost immediately attacked Canada, which was then a British colony. Okay? American officials were overly optimistic about the invasion's success, especially given how unprepared US troops were at the time. If you are a troop, guys, you're being used by Satan, 1,000,000%. All right? You're not a hero. On the other side, they faced a well-managed defense coordinated by Sir Isaac Brock. Brock Lesnar is the beast incarnate. Isaac makes me think of Isaac Newton. Sir tells me they work for Satan. The British soldier and administrator in charge of Upper Canada, which is now modern Ontario. So on August the 16th, 1812, the United States suffered a humiliating defeat. Let's see if they get humiliated by England in this World Cup. After Brock and Tecumseh's forces chased those led by Michigan. Remember, Brady played for Michigan at college. William Hull across the Canadian border, scaring Hull into surrendering Detroit without any shots fired. So this is beyond deep, guys, because there's a 9/11 reference as well. On 9/11, 1814, at the Battle of Plattsburgh on Lake Champlain in New York. Yeah, in New York. Where was 9/11, 2001? The American Navy soundly defeated the British fleet. And on September the 13th, which can be written 13-9, the 34th prime, we just had Steph Curry win the NBA at 34, Matt Stafford win the Super Bowl at 34, Messi win the Copa America at 34. Final was his 34th appearance. All right, modern day Freemasonry founded 1717, which gets you your 34. Jesus died on a date that can be written 3-4, the 3rd of April. Baltimore's Fort McHenry withstood 25 hours of bombardment by the British Navy. Guys, that was 9/11, 1814. So I don't need to rave on at this point other than tell you that there was a war in 1812 between the United States and Great Britain. And I'm telling you, World War III is around the corner. The whole World Cup's going to be about war themes. There could be an explosion, which I've said at this World Cup. So if there is a World War III, it's just the end times. It's the end times. The 2 US presidents who were called Harrison were the 9th and 23rd presidents. Wow. Remember, Pope Francis visited the White House on September the 23rd, a date that can be written 923. Okay? It's so deep. It's so deep. So there you have it. Are we living in a Truman Show? It seems that way. It really does seem that way. But what I want to get to you, this is really important, which I also wrote in my book. I personally don't buy into the fact that we live in a matrix. Remember that movie, there's 3 of them, heavily promoted. The people who directed it are now transgender, okay, because they sold their souls to Satan. But they really heavily push the matrix. And the more I think about it, again, the better my discernment gets, the more powerful my spirit becomes. I don't think we live in a matrix because they wouldn't promote it. I think when you truly believe it's this matrix and it's artificial intelligence, then you lose your faith in God. And I ain't falling for that. So this is what I wrote in my book. I wrote about the matrix. I personally don't buy into the fact that we live in a matrix, but I do believe that we live in a coded reality. And it is God who coded the universe. But Satan has done all he can to utilize the code in order to control the narrative and to control the minds of the masses. But he can't change prophecy, revelation, and he can't change his fate. He's lost. And imagine, guys, how meaningless our lives will be if this is a matrix without the almighty power of God behind it. That's my verdict on it now. I keep getting asked, do you believe we live in a matrix? I believe we live in a coded reality. I believe God communicates with us via numbers and symbols. I believe Satan's aware of the code. He can't necessarily change it, but he's mastered it. Okay? And he can basically control the minds like he's controlling the churches right now. All right? But you have free will to see through that, to see through the church, to see through the mainstream media, to see through the education system, to see through celebrity lifestyle. You have the free will to see that, but he can control the narrative. And it's up to you if you're going to play along with it. Okay? Somebody's asking me, how long have you known this, Adam? I don't know anything, really. It's just what I believe. So what are you referencing, Bernie, in regards to how long have you known this, Adam? You mean gematria? My knowledge of Revelation and the Bible, the Matrix? I don't know what you mean, how long have I known this for? I had my awakening in 2020. So Matrix is another term for grid of system called the matrix in mitochondria. Yeah, Satan is on a leash. He can only do what he's allowed to. 1,000,000% agree with that sentiment. And I 100% believe that to be correct. I always say this all the time, and it's the clearest thing I can say, is that God is the creator, Satan is a creation. And that's all I need to say. All right? Satan is a creation. God is the creator. When you realize that it was God who created Satan to test us, in my opinion, to test our spirit, then you don't give as much power and credit to Satan. But Satan is an extremely powerful entity, and you should not necessarily dismiss him. But for me, you can resist him. God is salvation, Satan's temptation. I've said that so many times. James 4:7 says the following: resist the devil and he will flee from you. Okay? If we resist temptation, guys, hold firm the promise of resurrection, which I believe in, and we do not give in, and I never give in. Do not accept the enemy's lies and do not give in to his accusations. Satan, he will eventually depart, guys. Satan's limited, like somebody said in the chat, is on a leash. All right? God's infinite, Satan isn't. And Satan, if you do not give in to temptation, all right, if you're able to resist the devil, he will eventually move on to easier prey because Satan's weak. All right? Satan's weak. People say he's going to target people like you, Illusion. He ain't. He ain't coming for me. He targets the weak. He's a bully. All right? It's as simple as that. I've never been afraid of bullies. I've never been bullied, but if I was, I'd knock them out. I won't be intimidated by them. So simple as that. Don't fall for Satan's trick, the matrix. All right? Where he's just doing all he can to hide the Holy Spirit from you, which is the truth. The only universal truth for me is the Holy Spirit. So Satan can only destroy your life if you're under the protection of the Creator, if you're not under the protection of the Creator. Satan can only destroy your life if you let him. All right? Simple as that. Simple as that. Satan will offer you so much. What is your deepest, darkest desire? All right, he'll offer you it. He knows. He knows that we're not perfect. He knows. He knows that. And he preys on the weak. All right? That's why I don't gamble. I hardly drink. I don't do drugs. I keep fit. I inspire people. I learn every day. I read scripture every single day. I don't watch the TV. I don't even own a TV. All right? I make people laugh. The gifts that I have, I share with others, like coaching, teaching, gematria, whatever it may be. All right? I'm not consumed by myself. I'm not obsessed by myself. I'm not egotistical like I once was. I call out bullshit. I will never vote. All right? I won't get taken in by the mainstream headlines of death and war and famine and all of that, which I can code in 5 minutes to tell you it's bullshit. I've done all of this in 2 years. So I hope I give you faith that you can do it. I was the most normal, regular, typical lad you can imagine 2.5 years ago. I've said, yes, I was intelligent in regards to academically, whatever. Means nothing, that, in my opinion, or very little. But I was stuck in Satan's matrix. I got tricked by him. All right? I was in love with the world. I'm not in love with the world now, but I appreciate the world. I appreciate the beauty of the world, but I'm fully aware that Satan is trying to destroy this world to create his own. And his world is a world of artificial intelligence that doesn't have humans. That's his perfect world, where everybody serves him. And he's destroyed God's creation. But the reality is, he's already lost. We can't be of this world, it's fallen. Yep. I agree. I agree. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. I think I've made my point. I'm going to be doing a class with a guy today. He's just texted me. Well, he texted me a while ago during the live. He wants me to teach him how to code and get closer to God, and I'll just answer any question. Yep. It's going to be this weekend. Hi, Adam. It's Sunny here. It's funny it's called Sunny, like the sun. Just seeing your message out with friends. Any chance you could schedule a session over the weekend? You can use the number for WhatsApp as well. Okay. All right. I'll be doing that. I like doing these one-on-ones with people. It's great because you hear their stories and you're helping them. I love doing them. I really do. Right. I'm starting to get a little bit hot and restless here. I'm a bit tired. But my neighbours are being loud because they're drilling again. But again, they've got to get stuff done. They're not going out of the way to piss me off. They've got to get stuff done. But right now, guys, the devil is sure busy. The devil is very busy right now. But so is God. All right? But so is God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. The devil's so busy, guys, that you need the whole armor of God. You can't be 1 foot in. You can't dip your toes in right now with what's going on in the world. You've got to be all in. All right? And the more you are all in, the more that you are wearing God's armor, the more you are going to be protected from what's about to go down. This is the end times. We're living during the end times. All right? If I'm wrong, so be it. I don't think I am. So I submit that the devil is not the only one who is busy when bad things happen. God is also at work. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. All right? Satan is busy at work against you, against humanity. But God is at work on your behalf if you believe in him. You may not find under construction signs hanging around. You may not see the tracks of heavy machinery. You may not hear the sound of heavenly jackhammers in the distance, but the master architect and builder is busy at work in your situation right now. I swear to God. Philippians 1:6 says, and I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. The devil is busy, but Satan is not busier than God. And that's the message of Peter 5:10-11. Christians can face suffering with the assurance that God is working it out for your good and his glory. But that doesn't mean you can just sit back and wait for Jesus' return. Just sit back and wait for a hero like you've been programmed to do in your Hollywood movies. All right? In your Hollywood movies where the good guy always wins and we just have to wait for the hero. What if we are the hero of this movie? What if it's us? Who was the hero of the Truman Show? Truman. Everyone has come and play the game of life in order to improve their soul. Playing the game of life is the only way to improve your soul. Some play it better than others. Right, I'm off. I hope you enjoyed this. I haven't looked too deep into the MLS final, but I will tell you for another 4, and I've been talking about 4 so long with Revelation and with Philadelphia. Back in the 1980s, the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, and the Eagles They all got to the championship. All right. Phillies, the World Series. The Flyers, Stanley Cup. Sixers, the NBA Finals. The Eagles, the Super Bowl. All right. No city has ever won the Grand Slam of professional sports. That's where you win the Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, World Series, and Super Bowl in the same year. But the city of Philadelphia made a spirited run at it in 1980, 42 years ago. The Beast reigns for 42 months. They put a team in the championship round in all 4 sports. All right. They didn't all win. The Phillies, of course, won. But guys, back in 1980, when the Georgia Guidestones were erected, Philadelphia got to the final of 4 major sports. 4 horsemen, and the 4th horse is death. All right. I'll give you a woo, but the throat's hurting. I ain't feeling great, but I'll do it for you. Woo! Woo! God wins, baby. God wins. Satan's going down, and he knows it. He's already lost. He's already lost. He's already lost. Do I know if Argentina will get to the World Cup final? Gary, no offense to you, brother, much love. Of course, I don't know. If I knew they were going to get to the World Cup final, I'd have all my friends and family put all their life savings on them getting to the World Cup final. I don't even know if there's going to be a World Cup final at this point. I believe there's going to be an explosion during the World Cup. I believe World War III is going to begin next year. So quite frankly, I don't really give a shit if Argentina get to the final. I'll be coding that tournament, not necessarily just to win people money. I'll be coding it to tell you where the world's going next year. What's more important? So do Argentina have a phenomenal, exceptional, incredible riddle to make the final and maybe even win it? Yes, they do. Do I know if they're going to make the final? Of course, I don't know. All right. Philadelphia Union star players Hungarian, like hungry, like famine. That's genius. I didn't even know that. That is really interesting. Remember, Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and Hungary beat England 4-0, like 40. And one of the biggest upsets over the last couple of years in international football. Hungary, like famine, beat England. I've told you, I've got a feeling that Lucifer resides in England, in the United Kingdom, the Beast Kingdom. And Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights. It's why Tom Brady came out of retirement 40 days after he retired. If people can't see how deep this is, then maybe they're not supposed to. If people can't watch my work and comprehend it, then maybe they're not supposed to. Not all of us have been chosen for this, and many will never be chosen for this. The Bible tells me that. I'm going because my back's aching, and I'm struggling. I'm sweating because I'm still not feeling good. So cheers, guys. I'm going to be doing a live stream with Chuck on Thursday to further back up why we think there's going to be a World War III and why we think the upcoming World Cup is likely going to be the last ever World Cup, and also a major event's going to take place. Okay. Yeah, I have got a bad back today. It's because I'm carrying this community. I'll leave you with that little bit of banter, right? Cheers, guys. Take care. Share my work. Check out my website, and I'll get that book done by the end of next week, I would say. I think it's a really good one. All right, guys, I'm off. 33 likes, the age that I woke up. Cheers, much love. Take care, and have a blessed day. How many miles can I run? I can run as many miles as I want, baby. All right? I'm like a Duracell bunny. Depends the speed I'm going. I can run continuous for as long as I want. Depends if I'm competing. But yeah, I love to run. I love to swim. I love to work out. It's a gift that I have from my family and from God. All right, I'm off because otherwise I'll keep reading your comments and then I'll stay in the live. Take care. Much love and have a good one. Bye-bye.